Welcome in, everyone, to Fantasy Football Office Hours presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-host, Joey Wright. What's up, Joey?
A lot is up. No, it's a good day. Family safe. Thank you for all the messages out there with Hurricane Ian coming through Florida. Wrecked my yard. Got a leak in the house, but I'm here. Somehow kept power for the first hurricane ever. So I'm very excited to be here tonight and with power. This is great. And
I'm so
thoughts
glad
to everyone in Florida that's dealing with worse circumstances than I am. It's just I've seen all the videos, talked to friends and family. It's terrible. So, but keep your heads up, everybody.
It's crazy stuff, and I'm glad you're safe, Joey. Glad your family's safe.
Yeah.
And if there's any
all my movies are safe. All my movies are safe. So
your films, Joey. Your
yes,
films, not your movies.
Films.
Come on, guys. Also joining us today, we have a very special guest. Britt Flinn is joining the show. For those of you that do not know Britt, you can find her on Twitter at Britt_Flinn. She's a co-host over at Lightning Round, and she does NFL content for Fantasy Alarm. You can find her Hot Takes article coming out every Monday morning over there. And there's a new series coming out, a new series of articles. Fantasy Alarm is going to be partnering with Women in Fantasy Football to release a series of articles called Her Story in the Making. Britt, you want to tell us a little bit about that? What's coming out from Fantasy Alarm and Women in Fantasy Sports?
Yeah, so it's actually going to be a podcast where I bring a couple of these up-and-coming female content creators on. Yeah, there's a ton of us out there who really love fantasy football, and it's kind of hard to break into that space. So we just want to highlight some of the women out there who are doing really great work and kind of bring them to the forefront. I didn't get here without any help, and I kind of want to pay that forward and help other people who are trying to break into the space. So we're looking to launch that pretty soon, maybe within the next couple weeks, but mid-fall, definitely. So you guys tune into that.
Man,
That's
I'm excited
awesome.
for that to come out.
Hey, can I book a guest for you? I'm serious.
Yeah,
in about 10 years.
Absolutely.
In about 10 years, my 5-year-old daughter, she's on her second week of Thursday Night Football with me. We're watching this Dolphins and Bengals tonight. She is full on for the Dolphins. So like 10 years from now, I think she'll be getting into it. She'll be like 16. Yeah. So in about 10 years, I'm going to book her for your show.
I love it. I think I'm in a league with the Sneaky Girls. If you guys don't know the Sneaky Girls.
Oh my
Rowan
God, they're
Maisie.
amazing.
They are I actually got beaten by Rowan. I mean, I'm not kidding. These girls are on top of their game, and it's so exciting to see a new generation of women who love football and understand the sport after
awesome.
so long of the gatekeeping, like you don't play football, so you can't know anything about it. It's times are changing. And so it's exciting to be able to be a part of that movement.
If playing football was a requirement, my 4'10" high school self would never be allowed into the fantasy football space either. I'm with you, Britt, and I appreciate the work you're doing to make that more of a reality. It's important stuff that we got going on there. Mr. Scamper's in the chat for office hours today said, I got redirected here. Anything cool going down? Yeah, me, Joey, and Britt are here answering your questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I see Daddy FanDuel in the chat letting Mr. Scampers know.
Daddy
Yeah,
FanDuel.
should be more fantasy football fun with the crew. What's up, FanDuel? Welcome in. Jason K. Paso, boys. What's up, Jay? Glad to have you in here. And look, Scamper's excited for all the people in this chat. Simon, Joey, and Britt. We've got our first question in here.
Let's go.
Yak Benji says, start one full PPR. Scary Terry, Lockett, or Mike Williams. Britt, of those three players, Terry McLaurin, Tyler Lockett, and Mike Williams, which one of those would you be starting?
I think you have to start Mike Williams, especially with the news that came out this afternoon that Keenan Allen left practice with a trainer. He had already been dealing with a hamstring issue. It seems like it's been re-aggravated. And the Chargers kind of really need all the help that they can get in that wide receiving core, especially now that Jalen Guyton is down for the season. It's not going to be much of a rotation. So, yeah, Mike Williams is a full start for me.
Are you agreeing with Britt on this one? Is it going to be Mike Williams for you?
Absolutely. Yeah. I know Mike Williams has given you like hot and cold lately, but especially with Keenan Allen being out, I do think he will show up. Not like the one game Keenan Allen was out before and he didn't show up. So yeah, fully agree with Mike Williams.
This is the Mike Williams experience, right? Like if you are ready to drop him or pull him out of your lineup because of a goose egg or a bad game, then maybe you shouldn't have drafted Mike Williams. Like he's the kind of player that can absolutely blow up. He's going to finish the season probably close to that like high-end wide receiver 2, potential wide receiver 1 territory, depending how many games go his way. But you're going to get stinkers. And this is setting up with Keenan Allen out to not be a stinker. I'm plugging Mike Williams in as well.
Did he go to Clemson? I feel like he did.
He did go to Clemson.
Okay.
My like favorite sports person interaction ever was with Mike Williams. It was the season he broke his neck. First game of the season, he dove for a touchdown in the end zone against Wofford, breaks his neck, is out for the year, right? And so what that means is we got Mike Williams downtown Clemson at the bars for an entire football season.
That's
all
awesome.
the other football players. And so I remember
Did you go to Clemson?
Yeah, I went to Clemson. I went to Clemson for a couple too many years. But I remember being downtown at the bar and I walked up to Mike Williams and I've got a little bit of like the liquid courage, right? And I go up to him. He's got the brace on. He's so tall. And I look up at him and I was like, hey, Mike, just be honest with me. How tall is Hunter Renfrow? And he looked at me like didn't say a word, just looked at me from toe to head and then back down, looks me in the eyes and goes, man, that dude's smaller than you are. And then he just walked away. And I walked around the rest of the night with the confidence like I caught the winning pass in the national championship game. Like I was on the football team. But that is I love Mike Williams. That's a funny dude.
That's awesome.
That's incredible.
We had a question here. First of all, shout out Carlos, my man. Thank you so much for the support. He said, I've been watching for way too long without ever having donated. Dude, your presence in these chats is enough, but thank you so much, Carlos. We appreciate it. He said Tua or Wilson. So who are you starting this week? Tua Tagovailoa or Russell Wilson? For me, I know we're dealing with Tua's injury, and it is a decent enough matchup for Russell Wilson, but until I see them put together more than one successful drive in a row, like I need to see them do 2 drives where Russell Wilson looks like Russell Wilson, where this offense is functioning, before I'm going to trust them over an option like Tua. So it's going to be Tua for me. Britt, what about you?
Yeah, I think you still have to stick with Tua. I think that this game is shaping up to be a little bit of a shootout, and I think the over in this game is going to smash. I know that everybody's concerned about Tua's back. Sorry, the dogs are really excited about Tua as well. But I know everybody's concerned about his back and his ankle, but they would not be playing him if he was not 100% healthy. And I just cannot trust Russell Wilson, to be totally honest, especially after that commercial. Like, guys, come on.
God, he continues to outdo himself with like the cringe, right? Like just
so
when you think
much
he can't get cringier, it gets worse and worse.
Oh boy. I'm full in on Tua as well. I'm really scared of Russell Wilson, and I was very heavy on Russell Wilson this preseason. Holy cow, I was drafting him everywhere. I do not like what I see. I don't know if I'll like what I see for quite a while, but this is the game. If you're going to get right with Russell Wilson. So, but yeah, I'm all good on Tua this week.
And Carlos had another question in here. So flex 1, start 1. So it looks like one of these players is going to be benched. So of Alvin Kamara, Jamal Williams, and Dameon Pierce, which of those 3 players are you going to bench this week? Joey, which one is it going to be for you?
So here's the thing. I think Carlos paid $10 to hear me say bench Dameon Pierce because it hurt me to my core. But yeah, I'm starting Kamara and Jamal Williams. Holy cow.
How can you bench him this week?
I believe he's pretty much every major outlet start of the week. I've seen NFL.com, I believe it was. I know CBS for sure he's our start of the week. So wow, go Jamal Williams.
Brett, are you agreeing with Joey here? Is it Dameon Pierce that you're benching?
Yeah, I think so too. I know that people are very underwhelmed with Kamara, but now we got the news that Jameis Winston might possibly miss this week. And if Andy Dalton goes, Andy Dalton is literally the king of checkdowns to the running back. Like Kamara is going to eat. I'm a little bit nervous if Jameis starts over Dalton, but even then, I still think you've got to take the upside with Kamara and bench Pierce.
I'm with you. It stinks because it's not a bad place to start Dameon Pierce, but you're in a really good position, Carlos, where you got these options that you're choosing from. So nice drafting, man. We're trading. Whatever got you to this roster right here. We had a question from Chris Kreider in here. He said, I just got offered Dubs plus Pierce to send away Breece Hall. Thoughts? Britt, which side of this trade would you be on? Dubs and Pierce or Breece Hall?
I'm Dubs and Pierce all the way. all the way. You know, we've seen Brees kind of have a 50-50 share in that backfield. Michael Carter still looks to be getting the majority of the passing down work. And especially with Zach Wilson coming back, I think he's going to rely more on Carter than he does Hall. Pierce has the absolute opportunity to become the workhorse back in Houston. And I know that they're a bad team, quote unquote, but I mean, Dubs alone, so much upside in that offense. So yeah, I'm Dubs and Pierce.
What does bad team even mean this year? I don't even.
Oh yeah,
it means Bears, and I think that's it. Really, everything else is a question mark.
And the Bears are even like they have a
There's
chance
hope.
to be
They're
3-1 after
Yeah,
this week. Like what? What is happening?
That's what's
Joey,
scary is that the Bears could win another week and then they think, oh, there's nothing wrong with this offense. Let's keep it going like this. And fantasy managers everywhere are like, please change the way you're playing. So, yeah, for me, you don't have to add much to Pierce to get me to accept this trade or to send Brees Hall away. I love Dameon Pierce. I think it's pretty well known here at Front Yard Fantasy. But getting Romeo Doubs is part of that. I love that. So absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm with you guys. It's going to be on the other side. Pierce and there's really not much of a break between Pierce and Hall for me, like you said, Joey. So
especially in redraft,
adding that upside on the other end, yeah, we're good to go. Jay had a question in here for us. He said, if you really needed a win, are you going more upside or safe plays? Something like Deontay or Mike Williams. So this is more of like a meta question. Joey, if you are in a matchup where you think this team is just so much better than you, how are you like changing your decision-making process for starts?
I mean, if I feel that like I need to hit a home run to win this game, I'm going to try for a home run. So I'm going to go with Mike Williams. You know, Deontay Johnson, I feel is that would be the safer option. I'm assuming.
Yeah. I think that was the example.
You know, he's going to get receptions and but you know, that's a little capped. Now in PPR, I think that's honestly a toss up because, you know, but the home run ability of Mike Williams is what I would take if I were needing to win. And I feel like I'm really trailing to do so.
Britt, are you comfortable taking shots on riskier players if it's a matchup you need to win or you feel you're down in?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like shoot for the moon. The projections already aren't going in your favor. So that's when you take more of those touchdown dependent guys who can actually blow up. Like, for example, in the Kings Classic this week, I played against Howard Bender and I had a lot invested in Mike Evans. So I picked up Matt Collins off of waivers and I was like, you know, I said, if he doesn't do anything, I'm no worse for the wear because I'm already missing one of my core players, but he has the upside to do so. And guess what happened? So yeah, chase upside like all the way.
Matt Collins, Zay Jones.
He might do it again
are the kinds
this
of
week
players.
too.
Yeah, if Hunter Renfrow
I think so too.
Renfrow might be out. Yeah.
You know, and dude, pay attention to Matt Collins. Like the more I look into it, the more I'm in, not just as a when Renfrow's out kind of player. Even when Renfrow was in, he was on the field just about 90% of the time. It was like 87, 88% in the first 2 weeks. Renfrow gone, that bumps up almost to 100, 97% of the snaps. Like he's a starter. He is a part of this offense, not just a secondary piece that comes in whenever Renfrow is injured. So pay attention. And that was that must have felt good, Britt, to pick him up and plug him in place of Mike Evans.
I don't even think that he was like that. It's the snap share alone. It's the fact that he's getting targets. Like he's getting as many targets. He's not out there on this, you know, all track team that so many route runners do, like not throwing Treylon Burks under the bus after last week's 97%. But, you know, he's actually getting out there, getting the snaps, getting targets. Like he's the whole package. And I mean, Carr seems to like him. So,
yeah, I'm with you. I want to see it some more. I want to see that target share continue. But you're right. I think it was like 8 targets week 2, then 10 targets week 3, and those 8 targets came with Hunter Renfrow in the offense. Like he was out there. We had some more questions in here. Mike wants to know, should I trade Debo for Pittman and AJ Dillon in a PPR 10-team league? Britt, are you making this trade? Which side of this would you want?
I actually really like Pittman and AJ Dillon in this. I know that it's really hard to trade away Debo, but Debo hasn't exactly, you know, rocked the socks off his stat line over the past few weeks. And now with Garoppolo coming in there, it seems like he's going to go more to that wide back role, which kind of caps his upside. Pittman is the wide receiver 1 in that Indy defense. They look pretty bad, so they're going to have to throw a ton, as we've seen them not utilize Jonathan Taylor because they are coming from behind so often. And then AJ Dillon showed us last season at the end that he actually outtouched Aaron Jones by the end of the year. So if you're looking for a league winner that you can just kind of stash on your bench, like, yeah, I've got to go Pittman and Dillon.
I think I'm going Pittman and Dillon as well here. Joey, what about you?
Yeah, I feel much better about this trade in a 12-team league. I think you're getting great value. I would say though, if you are set at running back, like you don't need AJ Dillon really. I don't know how I feel about this trade because in 10-team leagues, I want to have the best players and the best positions. And in this trade, Debo is the best player. Now you're getting tremendous value though in this trade, so I don't hate it at all. But if you have star-studded running back lineup, this is just a caveat. I'm hesitating on the trade a little bit, but I for the most part I do agree Pittman and AJ Dillon.
I get what you're saying though.
I just wanted to add that in there just because I agree with you guys, but you never know.
If Dillon's going straight on your bench, this trade could just in your starting lineup look like Debo Samuel for Michael Pittman, where you're just downgrading that wide receiver spot. We had a question here from Rollins15. He said, am I trading away Khalil Herbert for Tyler Lockett in 12-man PPR? I don't know. Are you, Rollins? Griff wanted to know, Kirk or Britt, would you be going Khalil Herbert or Tyler Lockett in this trade?
I mean, we don't really know how long David Montgomery is going to be out. And on the flip side of that, Lockett has seen a ton of targets over the past few weeks. Like he's kind of fallen by the wayside as far as defensive coverages go, where DK Metcalf draws all that attention. And then Lockett's actually come out on top of these matchups. So I like Lockett over Herbert. That's not to say that Herbert isn't a stud. I absolutely love him, especially in Dynasty. But I don't know if Eberflus is actually going to incorporate him into this offense when Montgomery's healthy. So, yeah, give me Lockett.
This one's tough for sure. I think, and it's just because this is the type of player I look for in fantasy. Khalil Herbert, like how I like to play fantasy. These are the kind of players that I want to like take my shot on and get on as many rosters as possible, because not often during a season does a player become available on the waiver wire or through trade that has the opportunity without injury to potentially become the lead back in an offense, right? Like there's a world where Khalil Herbert just runs away with this job. It's not the one I'm predicting. I think it's probably going to be more of a split backfield with David Montgomery in the lead, but this could be Khalil Herbert's backfield. I want that lottery ticket on my bench that's going to have some value anyways. And Tyler Lockett's good. If one of these players is going to have more PPR fantasy points at the end of the season, it's probably Tyler Lockett. But who could finish top 12 at their position if things go the right way? I think that's Khalil Herbert. So I'll take that upside, but this is tough. This is tough. It's really a like, what do you want? Like, what are you looking for out of this trade? Joey, break the tie. Where are you going?
So I wish I knew more about the David Montgomery injury. And I say that as like, I've looked into what is it. I did hear Dave Richard with CBS say that he may have heard that it was a high ankle sprain, and high ankle sprains for running backs tend to linger, which would make me lean towards Herbert. But the thing is, we don't know that for a fact. And I know what Tyler Lockett can do every week. So I'm probably going to go Lockett just because of the big question mark, but I totally understand what Simon's saying.
Griffin here wanted to know Kirk or Hunt at flex. So Christian Kirk or Kareem Hunt. This is Christian Kirk for me. Christian Kirk is he's bordering on that must start territory at wide receiver now. Britt, where are you going on this one?
Yeah, I've absolutely love Christian Kirk. The only kind of downside in his matchup this week is, are they going to move Darius Slay to the slot to cover him? Like, who is actually going to be that cover corner on him? There's also going to be some bad weather in Philadelphia with some higher winds, which could decrease the passing volume. But in Cleveland at this point, it pretty much looks like it's Chubb's backfield. So I still lean Kirk because he does have that upside and opportunity to just completely blow up. But I think that they're both good options. And if some kind of news comes out later on where we do find out that Slay's covering Kirk, then it might change it a little.
Joey, what about you? Are you going Kirk or Hunt?
I feel much more confident in starting Kirk. Hunt could have the better game, but I never know when those good games are coming from Kareem Hunt. I really don't. So I'm going with Kirk. Kind of a few questions back was like, should I take a safety play or should I take the home run play? Hunt's that kind of home run player, but he's striking out too. So you got to deal with those strikeouts if you're going to take the home run. But in this case, I went Christian Kirk. Sorry to bring baseball to a fantasy football show. That was very rude of me.
That's okay, Joey.
Hey, we've
It's
got to
almost
incorporate the Aaron Judge home run. Like it's timely.
Yes. He tied the real record last night, I believe.
Yep.
Is that what I read? Yeah.
hit
Yep.
that. What was it? 62, 61, 61, right?
62.
That's the
61.
number.
Yeah.
And then the lasagna guy dropped it.
Classic. I feel like all of those record-breaking balls, there's always a story with it every single time. Like it's never just clean. Like Mike Evans giving away Tom Brady's touchdown ball. Like there's always just something happening. Jay had a question here for us. He said, Ertz or Conklin, PPR. Joey, which way are you going on this one?
Yeah,
Zach Ertz or Tyler Conklin?
I'm going to go Zach Ertz. And when Zach Ertz goes off this week, trade him. Trade him. His schedule gets very difficult after this. And then DeAndre Hopkins is just around the corner from coming back. I think you are at the peak point of trying to sell Zach Ertz after this week, but I think he's going to be good this week.
Britt, are you agreeing with Joey here? Ertz over Conklin?
Yeah, absolutely. Conklin has looked, quote, good in this offense, but then you look that Joe Flacco has thrown so many passes. For one, that pass volume is not sustainable. If you look at the actual pass volume versus what Conklin's getting, it's something like 14%. So it's not even really that great of a target share. And then now you have Zach Wilson coming back, who jury's still out on him. So yeah, Ertz 100%.
I'm so curious to see Wilson this weekend.
Yeah. Where's he going to go?
Can he even put on half a Flacco? Are they going to let Zach Wilson throw the ball 40 to 50 times a game, or is that just what they do with Joe Flacco? Because I'll be surprised if he's throwing the ball as much as they had Flacco doing it.
Steady 2 PPR.
I'm assuming that means start. Greg wants to know start 2 PPR. Stevenson, ETN, Judy, and Dubs. Joey, which 2 of these 4 would you be starting this week?
Judy for sure. And then it gets a little complicated. I'm really wondering, did we see a changing of the guard last week with Ramondre Stevenson and Damian Harris? I'm probably, this is tough. ETN's out for me. I need to see some more from ETN, and I hate saying that because I love Travis Etienne. I'm going to go Judy and Dubs. Not confidently.
Joey, that's where I was going to go, and I thought I might be on an island there, but I'm going Judy and Dubs as well. And Dubs is the guy that I'm really trying to put in my lineup. Aaron Rodgers is the kind of quarterback where if I see that level of targets to a player, I'm trusting that maybe he wants to throw to that player more. So I'll go Dubs and Judy. What about you, Britt?
So I'm definitely sticking with you guys with Dubs, but I am not a fan of Judy this week. The Raiders rank, in DVOA versus the number 1 receiver and DVOA versus number 2 receiver, they're 8-2. They are at the top tier in DVOA against receivers. I think this might end up being a KJ Hamler game for some weird reason, just because that's how these games have gone. And it's an AFC West battle and they both look like dog poo. So I think I would rather go Stevenson. I think that he's kind of taken over the bulk of the carries, and with Brian Hoyer in there, I think that he's going to be a check down king. I think that Stevenson's going to get those PPR receptions, and against Green Bay, they're pretty good against the pass. So I'm going to have to go Stevenson over Judy. I don't feel comfortable about it, but I can't play Judy.
I got it. Yeah, there's a lack of comfort in plugging Judy in at all. We've got Jares in here going Edmonds tonight or Hunt. So I know Edmonds coming off that 2 touchdown game, but it was on like a number of touches that you could just throw up on a single hand. I think he had 7 touches or something ridiculous in that game. Yeah. Joey, but we talked about Hunt being that kind of home run shot that you can't predict. Where would you be going here?
Yeah, I'm actually going to go Hunt on this one. Even though Edmonds had the 2 touchdowns last week, that's really all he had. So I don't want to hang my hand on that, especially against the Bengals. They do have a good run defense. It hasn't necessarily shown up as much this year. They're 23rd against, they're 23rd best against the run this year. So I expect it to show up a little bit better tonight. I expect, like Britt said, there's going to be a possible shootout tonight, and I'm expecting a lot of receiving yards tonight. So,
Britt, are you going Edmonds or Hunt?
Yeah, I'm going Hunt as well. I think the Bengals are a lot better against the run than they have let on over the past couple weeks. And then the Browns are facing the Falcons. Their rush yards per game are at 109. The rush yards per attempt are 4.8. Pass yards per game, 271. So if Hunt does get that passing work, I mean, he's just going to explode. I can't trust Edmonds against this. I really think it's a pass-heavy game from both sides. And yeah, this is a week that Hunt could blow up.
I agree. I think this is a pass-heavy game from both sides, and I'm going Hunt as well. A lot of agreement on today's show. Jay had a question for us. It said, start one PPR, Javonte. So Javonte Williams, Deontay Johnson, Cortland Sutton, James Robinson, or Rashad Bateman. Man, you can only start one of these. What is this, a 16 league? This is solid if 4 of those 5 players are growing on your bench, Jay. Britt, which of those 5 would you be starting?
I think that this is a Javonte Williams breakout week. I truly, truly do. The Raiders rank, let's see, I lost my spot, but I think that with Melvin Gordon being hurt, he was still limited today with a neck injury. I don't necessarily know if he's going to play. I think Javonte finally takes over this workhorse role. Maybe Mike Boone gets sprinkled in there a little bit, or maybe Nathaniel Hackett figures out that Mike Boone doesn't belong in this rotation. Either way, Javonte is going to have a great game against the Raiders.
Joey, where are you going on this one?
Yeah, so the Raiders give up the 3rd most fantasy points to running backs, and with Melvin Gordon possibly not being in there, it's absolutely Javonte Williams.
Yeah, I know I haven't been the biggest Javonte Williams supporter, but I'm with you guys this one for this week. The other option would be Bateman for me. I know they're going up against a tough Bills defense, but that secondary still isn't at 100%, and this is another game that should be high scoring, right? Should be a showout. I believe it's got the highest total of any game this week, if I'm not mistaken. The Bills Ravens game. I can't imagine another one that's a little bit higher. Maybe Seahawks Lions is up there with it, but it's Javonte, but Bateman close behind. We had a question from Carlos in here. He said, would love some genuine feedback on a trade I made. Have a bit of buyer's remorse. I traded AJ Dillon plus Christian Kirk for James Robinson plus Tyler Lockett. Needed an upgrade at RB. Joey, what's your honest feedback on this trade? Dillon plus Kirk for James Robinson plus Lockett.
Okay, so Carlos, thank you for the money earlier in the show. Listen, I do not like James Robinson. I've been pretty clear about that. I understand he's looked great this year. I said earlier about a trade, like I like having the best player in the trade, and for me, Christian Kirk's the best player right now. I don't mind the trade for you. I would not have made it. Thank you once again for the money.
Britt, what do you think about this trade?
Yeah, James Robinson has been, completely just fate defying at this point, coming back and doing what he's done with that Achilles. But if you look at his yards per attempt, even since week 1, it's kind of dwindled. And I think last week it was something like 2.2 yards per attempt. He had a couple of big runs, but a lot of times he got stuffed. I think that he kind of regresses throughout the rest of the season, and ETN takes a little bit of a leap. And I love Christian Kirk. I mean, I am a Christian Kirk fangirl 1000%. So yeah, I don't necessarily like that trade, but your receivers are still really good. So, depends on the other running backs that you had on your team. It might make me feel a little bit different, but
I'm sad. I'm sad trading Christian Kirk away in this one.
Yeah.
Like that's the piece that hurts the most, Carlos. Again, yeah, not my favorite trade, but you win some, you lose some. You make some bad trades, and who knows? It's early in the season. Maybe we see James Robinson just continue what he's doing, right? Like It's an immediate upgrade at running back, I do think, from Dillon to Robinson. I'm not sure if it's an upgrade through the end of the season, but sometimes you just got to get those wins right away, right? You need that running back. You got to plug him in. So I don't hate it. Wouldn't have made it. Dame wants to know, in half PPR, would you start any of DJ Moore, Garrett Wilson, or Romeo Doubs over AJ Dillon or CPAT? Britt, are you subbing any of those players in over Dillon or Cordero Patterson?
I actually like Doubs. CPAT showed up on the injury report today. The Browns defense is pretty stout. They're definitely not going to have an easy time with that. Same with Dillon. The Patriots run defense has been decent, not great. DJ Moore is going up against a great matchup, but he hasn't shown anything this season. And then Garrett Wilson gets Zach Wilson back. So we don't really know how that rapport and relationship is going to work. I think with Allen Lazard being injured, that Doubs legitimately has a chance to break into that wide receiver 1 territory or role in Green Bay. And I absolutely love the matchup this week. So give me Dubs all day.
Dubs over CPAT, it sounds like. Joey, what about you?
I'm actually starting all three of them over Dylan. Not CPAT though. Every year DJ Moore has 1,000 yards and 4 touchdowns, and I think this week he gets like 250 and 3 of those touchdowns. I don't know what's gonna happen the rest of the season, but I really was at week 1. I said DJ Moore was gonna. Yeah.
Week 1, Joey's bold call was something like DJ Moore 175 receiving or 150 receiving yards. It was double his line.
62 yards, and I was like, "Oh, Baker's coming. He's coming for blood." DJ Moore's going to double that.
Then he had like 11.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. It was a bad call. No, but I do like DJ Moore this week. Garrett Wilson's looked really good every week. And then I think Britt covered Romeo Dubs. He's exciting. And Rodgers seems to trust him because he catches the ball and he doesn't really drop it. I think he was 8 for 9 last week. Had 9 targets, had 8 catches. Like, let's go.
What universe are we living in that Aaron Rodgers trusts a rookie? Like, are you kidding me?
It's not. It's that ayahuasca.
Slim Pickens.
Like, right. We're in the upside down at this point in Green Bay.
Just a little bit of psychedelics, and all of a sudden the spirits are telling them to trust a rookie. Like they have a young, kind spirit. You can trust them, Aaron. Mr. Scampers in here said half PPR and need 2. Hurt Dalvin versus New Orleans. London. Mike Williams at Houston. And Gabe versus Bateman in Baltimore. Davis was a DNP today. So which of those 2 would you be starting? Dalvin Cook, Mike Williams, I'm guessing Gabriel Davis, and Rashad Bateman. Where are you going, Britt?
I definitely think you have to start Mike Williams. I'm a little hesitant to start Dalvin Cook because of that shoulder injury, but last season he had the same injury and then put up 200 yards when we were all worried about him. I think maybe I'm a little bit more comfortable with Bateman. But, oh, man, I don't know. The last 2 are hard. I need to know who else is on your team. I need to know what your strengths and weaknesses are to answer the second part of that question.
I think I run these things through a filter. And it's exactly what you said. We watched Dalvin Cook have this injury and blow up last year. I'm going to be way more mad if I put Dalvin Cook on my bench and he blows up like we know he can, than I will be if I leave him in my lineup and it's a bit of a stinker and Madison has more of a workload. Like, Dalvin Cook's the kind of player where I'm just going to, if it happens, it happens, but I know what he's capable of. And like signs are pointing to him being good to go for this weekend. So I'll start Dalvin and Mike Williams, but that's a tricky decision. Joey, looks like you agree.
Yep.
We got a question from the Tootsie Pop 6, the 6th one. That's incredible. Boyd, Claypool, or Richie James, full PPR. Joey, Tyler Boyd,
roll down.
Chase Claypool, or Richie James.
We're gonna go Richie James. He's lower down, but I like against Chicago. I'll take Richie James. I'm not in on Claypool this year. It's too many mouths to feed, and I don't like the quarterback there, so it's gonna be hard for me to start Claypool.
What about you, Britt?
Yeah, I think that Boyd kind of enters this conversation because T. Higgins got banged up a little bit last week, and then Boyd had that incredibly long touchdown run. But if you take that away, I mean, he really hasn't done much. I think Richie James has a clearer path to workload than either of these other 2. So yeah, roll with him.
Man, this is it's a little bit tough. I'm tempted to go Boyd just because of what we think this game is going to be, right? Like this has the potential to be such a big shootout. And I just want, like, when I'm this far down on my list, I just want that guy that can hit that home run, like that person. And Boyd might be that guy this week in this matchup. So I'm going to go Tyler Boyd here.
Okay.
The Tootsie Pop had another question for us. Said roll with Chargers defense again or pick up the Bengals defense. So Bengals going against the Dolphins tonight, as we've been talking about, and we've got the Chargers going up against the Texans as well. So a good matchup for the Chargers. What are you guys going with in this one?
I'm going to roll with the Chargers. That game's going to be a shootout tonight with the Bengals. And I do normally like their defense, but not this week.
Now, Britt, you agree?
Yeah, same. It's going to be like air bombs all night.
All night long. Yeah, that'll be stressful having one of those. Stressful having one of those defenses. Dame said, gross question. Wentz at Dallas, Brissett at Atlanta, or Axel Hoyer at Green Bay? Britt, which one of these quarterbacks are you starting this week?
I think you've got to go Brissett. I mean, Dallas's defense is shown to be really good. I think Wentz got exposed last week against Philadelphia. Everyone was so in on him because he had faced some decently soft defenses, and then the real Wentz showed up. Brissett's really developed a rapport with Amari Cooper, with Njoku. I know that he didn't practice today, but I think he'll be ready to go by Sunday. And I cannot play Brian Hoyer against Green Bay. Like, Jair Alexander is going to come back healthy. They still have Devondre Campbell, who is a dangerous linebacker. Give me Brissett.
Yeah, it's Brissett for me as well. I am so glad that we don't have to keep on pretending like Carson Wentz is suddenly good again. Like just that was like exhausting to be like, well, maybe he's good. Maybe it was the cold. Like,
I never believed.
We can just breathe for a second, and we don't have to like even have that worry in our mind that suddenly he's great. Joey, where are you going here?
I'm going Brissett. Yeah, absolutely. I was going to make a analogy to Jay Leno and Carson Wentz, but I'll save that for another day.
Okay. It's not the Jay Leno day.
We need to get some questions. It's not the Jay
Leno day. We got a question in here from Zero. Wants to know, what's up, guys? Should I be worried about Mixon and start Patterson over him, or should I stick with Mixon this week? Britt, it sounds like you had your own concerns about Patterson. So are you going Mixon here over CPAT?
Yeah, I'm going to go Mixon. I think, like I said earlier, the Browns defense has been pretty decent. The Dolphins rank 18th I got scrolled down. They actually rank 29th in rush DVOA. So I think Mixon's actually going to have a decent night when they want to switch up from that air raid approach. So yeah, give me Mixon. He came off the injury report. He's fully healthy. I think that's why a lot of people were worried about him. But yeah, give me Mixon.
I'm with you. Full confidence plugging Mixon in. And I like CPAT, but you got to play Mixon. Joey, are you playing Mixon here? Or are you too worried to plug him in?
No, it's Mixon for me. I like the matchup for him, and he's the only running back in this game tonight that I actually like. So it's just not a bold take. I don't know why I said that.
We have a question in here from Jay. Jay said just claimed Romeo Doubs and got a trade offer to trade him for ETN. Britt, you're not doing that one?
No way.
Man,
hold on to Doubs.
What 4 weeks has done to us?
Just about to say the same thing.
It's making us crazy.
Would you trade
I
15th round pick Romeo Doubs from fantasy drafts for 3rd round pick Travis Etienne? And the answer is like probably not. Probably not right now.
Okay.
What are you doing, Joey? Are you doing it?
Man, I might make that trade.
Is it dynasty or is it redraft?
Yeah.
Oh, that does make a difference as well. But I'm assuming redraft unless they tell us otherwise. Joey, what's your decision? Are you doing it or are
I'm gonna make that trade. And I like Romeo Doubs a lot. I just Britt broke down why James Robinson, he's kind of trailing off a little bit, and ETN might come through in the second half of the season. And you might be able to get ETN the cheapest you get him the whole season right now. I still believe in him. But it's hard to send Romeo Doubs away right now. He's so good.
It is hard. We had a question from Kevin Tompkins in here. It's a very reasonable question. He said, Matt Rule or the wood chipper from Fargo, full PPR.
I love that reference.
Who's the wood chipper? I don't get it.
In Fargo, the guy goes into the wood chipper and
I've never seen that.
They put it. You should see Fargo. It's good. There's a little spoiler.
I don't watch movies I don't watch
neither
movies.
Do I hate
I know.
movies.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm the worst.
That's where our opposites happen.
I
get this is going to sound ridiculous, but I get stressed out by the commitment to sit down and watch a full movie. Like, I feel like I have limited free time. And if I decide I'm going to watch a movie, that's committing the next 2 hours of my life to that. And I can't change my mind because once I've started, I'm invested. Oh, Joey said, I'm out of here with that. That being said, I love movies. Every time I commit to one, I'm happy about it. But I have trouble with committing that time to watching a movie. We have a question from Chase in here.
Let me talk to you about Rosemary's Baby. No, I'm kidding. All right.
Chase wants to know flex Pierce, Bateman, Dylan, Gibson, or Judy this week, full PPR. Britt, which of those players would you be flexing this week?
Oh man, it's between Pierce or Bateman for me, but I think I lean Pierce a little bit. The Chargers run defense improved a little bit over last year, but not that much. They're still 18th in rush DVOA. I think Houston doesn't really have a lot more going on, and the Chargers secondary is really good. So I think if they're going to score points, they're going to have to do it on the ground. So that's what kind of flips me to Pierce.
I worry about God, I can't believe I have to say I'm worried. I worry about Rex Burkhead being the guy that they go to if they're down heavily in this game, right? Like we've seen that they like to use him as a receiving back, and I don't think he's going away. Now there's a slight worry, but that's just going to be the tiebreaker between him and Bateman for me. I'll go Bateman because they have a pass catching back that they like to use. Joey, are you going Pierce?
I'm leaning in hard and slow into Dameon Pierce.
We have a question from Connor in here. He says, pick one PPR. Joey, you can lean hard into Pierce here as well. Dameon Pierce, Ramondre Stevenson, Greg Dortch, or Zay Jones. Joey, which of these players would you be starting in PPR?
Would you believe me if I said Zay Jones is my second choice, but it's Dameon Pierce is my first choice?
I do believe you. Britt, where are you going here?
Yeah, same. I like Dameon Pierce. We still don't really know if Ramondre is the workhorse or the number one back in New England. Dortch showed up on the injury report today, as did Zay Jones, and they're both going against some pretty crazy defenses. So, yeah, give me Pierce.
Pierce, it's Pierce for me as well. I want to say Dortch just because I like the excuse to say his name as many times as possible, but I'm going to say Pierce. There's so many ways you can do it. I'm going to be every time he scores, I just start screaming his name for the next 30 minutes. Jay in here said DK Metcalf or Allen Robinson PPR. Joey, who are you starting this week? DK Metcalf or Allen Robinson?
Jay should have given me $10 to say this. DK Metcalf. I'm sorry.
Is
Allen
this
Robinson.
a trap?
Joey,
I love
Allen
Robinson.
Britt, who are you?
Fading away, sadly.
Is it DK Metcalf or A-Rob for you, Britt?
Yeah, it's Metcalf. I don't like it. I had much higher hopes for A-Rob as well, but
I do
it's just
not like A-Rob's matchup
manifesting
at all this week.
Oh no.
You just gotta hope that Jeff Okudah is not on DK Metcalf this week, right? Like that's what you're crossing your fingers for, that he's covering Tyler Lockett or he's not on him, because so far that dude's been shut down for the Lions. Like he has been a superstar out there for him, but the rest of the defense pretty beatable, it seems like. So that's what I'm crossing my fingers for with DK. But if that's the case, I think he can have a big week. Yeet Man 143 said McLaurin or Judy or Garrett Wilson at flex. Britt, are you starting Terry McLaurin, Jerry Judy, or Garrett Wilson at the flex spot this week?
Oh, this is so hard for me. So on one hand, I know that Dallas's defense is very good. And I also know that Trayvon Diggs is a make it or break it corner. And I figure that he's going to be on McLaurin. So although he's probably going to get some interceptions, he's also likely to give up some big chunk yardage. But I don't really know if Carson Wentz can even throw the ball because that pass rush is so good, honestly. Yeah. So I think I'm going to lean towards, I'm going to lean Judy. I don't, honestly, this is a toss up for me. I have no idea.
Yeah, this one's
ask me in 2 days.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Joey, what about you? Where are you going?
I'm going to go Garrett Wilson on this one. I think he's having a great season. I don't think it's going to get derailed horribly by Zach Wilson, but yeah.
And I'm going to go for me. Terry McLaurin. And Britt, you laid out the situation perfectly. I'm just counting on enough of those plays getting past Diggs, but Diggs is so much fun to watch. Like just like from a football perspective, God, like I tune into Cowboys games just to see him trying to jump those routes. Like it is such a exciting way to play that position. I love watching him do it. We've got Daggers in here with a question for us. He said, start Vikings, Dolphins, 49ers, or Cardinals D this week. Joey, do you have a preference of which of these four defenses you would be starting? So the Vikings have the Saints in London, right? Dolphins have the Bengals tonight. We got the 49ers going up against, who do we have? The Rams, right? And then and then Arizona is going up against Carolina.
So I'm going to rule the Dolphins out because that game is going to be high scoring tonight, even though it's a Thursday night game. And usually when in doubt, Thursday's out, but this is a different Thursday. 49ers, they're playing the Rams. Even though I don't like the matchup for the Rams, I don't like the matchup for the 49ers defense either. So it's between the Vikings and the Cardinals for me. If Andy Dalton start the Vikings defense. That's my caveat. Otherwise, Cardinals for me.
What about you, Britt? Where are you leaning on this one?
See, I think I still have to lean 49ers. I don't think that Matt Stafford is where he should be. He's been pretty inaccurate. The Cardinals defense, their secondary is still just kind of garbage, even against the Panthers. Another interesting stat, the Panthers have won 14 of the last 19 games that they've played against the Cardinals. So I really think that they are going to. I know it's crazy. I didn't believe it either. Again, we're in the upside down. Is this real life? But yeah, that's a legit stat. So I have to go 49ers. I know that it's probably not going to be the best stat line that they put up all season, but it's the best out of those 4.
You know, the Panthers are actually favored in that game. I'm looking at it now on the FanDuel Sportsbook. They're 1.5 point favorites over the Arizona Cardinals in that game. Now the Panthers are at home, so maybe that. But still, I would not have guessed that. But God, you're right. This season is just the complete upside down. I think I'm with you, Britt. I'm going to go 49ers in this one, but it is definitely close. Chase wants to know thoughts on Eagles defense this week against the Jags. Expect the Jags to pop off again. Rams are on waivers too. So would you go Rams or would you go Eagles defense?
I think I would still go Eagles defense because there is going to be some weather there. So I don't think it's necessarily going to be as high powered as it could be otherwise. Rams, I'm just still not 100% sold on them. And I don't really know what to expect with Jimmy G, especially after the week 1 game that the Rams put up. I mean, it was kind of embarrassing. The Eagles have shown a lot of their young talent is acclimating to the NFL very well. So I'm going to go with the Eagles.
Eagles. I'm going to go with the Eagles as well here. Joe, you agreeing?
Yep, absolutely.
Let's see. I saw another question in here. Mr. Scamber said, your last name forevermore, Dortch or Dulcich? What's it going to be?
I love Dulcich. I love that soft C.
It's nice, isn't it? Like it's a nice word to roll off the tongue, but I think I'm going Dortch. Then people can just you're called Dortch if your last name is Dortch, like for the rest of your life. And I've never really had like a nickname that stuck. I'm going with Dortch. Joey, what are you known as? Or option C, no name for all eternity.
I'm going with the soft C.
The soft C, double soft C right here. And Curly in here, Joey letting you know, A-Rob still has bear shit on his shoes. That's all that's going on. He just tracked some of the Bears over there with him. Mr. Scampers had a question for us. Said half PPR, Curtis Samuel at Dallas, Dylan versus New England, or Devin Singletary at Baltimore. Britt, which of these 3 players would you be plugging in a half PPR league?
So I love Devin Singletary, not because he's got a great yards per carry average, but because for some reason, Josh Allen seems to love checking down to him. If you look at his stat line from last week, he didn't show up with anything on his rushing yards, but those PPR points, add them up, rack them up, rack them up. I mean, it was just those short yardage plays the entire time. Baltimore has a terrible pass defense. Give me Singletary all day long.
Joey, what about you?
I'm glad I'm not the only one on Singletary Island. Yeah, absolutely Devin Singletary for me.
More like double Terry, am I right? With both of you guys picking him?
Cha-ching!
And it's not going to be triple Terry because I'm going Curtis Samuel here. Like you mentioned, Britt, like they may not have much time to throw in this game going up against Dallas, and Curtis Samuel is probably going to be that short yardage receiver for them. So PPR points, rack them up. Curtis Samuel, same kind of guy, right? It's not high value targets, but it's low value targets and a lot of them that we're probably going to be seeing from him. So I'll go Curtis Samuel there.
She was frozen with her drink, and I was like, man, she's really hitting. Oh, wait, she's frozen.
Oh, was I frozen?
Yeah, but it looked like you're taking a real long drink. I was like, whoa. Okay.
No, it's just a sip, I swear.
That's good.
We got a question from Swavey in here. He says, I traded Cook, Eckler, and Madison. Holy cow, what a trade, first of all, for Tyreek, Swift, and Breece Hall. Assuming I don't need to start Swift or Hall right now. What? You traded away Cook and Eckler for Swift and Hall, and you don't need to start either of them. Who won the trade? Britt, which side of this trade do you like?
I mean, Tyreek, Swift, and Hall, especially, I feel like with assets like this, it kind of has to be a dynasty league because I don't think there's any way that somebody can get Cook and Eckler on the same team. You know what I mean? Unless they were just like the 12th pick. Same with Tyreek and Swift. So I'm assuming that this is dynasty. And in that case, it's got to be the Tyreek, Swift, and Hall.
So I think Swavey came in here before and mentioned that they traded for Dalvin Cook, like already this season. So Dalvin Cook was traded for, drafted Eckler in the first round, or
could maybe he have been in a salary cap league, possibly.
Also, we could be talking a salary cap league, but I'm with you, Britt. This is the Tyreek, Swift, and Breece Hall side. Like we talk Dalvin Cook to Tyreek, like direct comparison. Give me Tyreek rest of season. Austin Eckler to DeAndre Swift. Give me DeAndre Swift rest of season. I know we're concerned about the injury. And then Madison to Breece Hall. Give me Breece Hall rest of season. Like each and every piece, just direct analog. I want the other side more. Joey, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, you're trading 3 pieces in an offense for 2 pieces of an offense because Cook and Madison, that's basically 1 piece of the Vikings offense. So yeah, it's the other side for me.
And Swavey telling us it's PPR 10 man, and I have Chubb and Saquon redraft. I don't know how you put this together, Swavey, but congratulations on your championship, my man. This is a championship winning roster.
But with those running backs, like every week, you're just
Debating.
scratching. Yeah.
You're going to start the wrong guy. You're going to plug Chubb in, and then Swift's going to go off on the bench. You're going to plug in, take Saquon out. He's going to go off. Actually, never take Saquon out of that lineup. Just leave him in there all year. Daggers wants to know, half PPR, start Ertz or Njoku. So we talked a little bit about Ertz earlier. Britt, would you be plugging in Ertz, or are you willing to start Njoku over him?
Yeah, I still think you have to go Ertz here just because of the receiving option woes that they have in Carolina, or not Carolina, in Arizona. You know, we don't know if Rondell Moore is coming back. Dort showed up on the injury list. DeAndre Hopkins is still suspended. Marquise Brown has really been the only reliable option in that, and even that hasn't been great. So yeah, you got to go Ertz.
And God, it is such a good matchup for the tight end going up against Atlanta, though. No, I think you're right. I think the answer is Ertz, but there are a lot of players that I wouldn't start Njoku over regularly that this week I would be willing to trot Njoku out against this Atlanta defense. So I'm going to go Ertz,
I'm a little worried that he popped up on the injury report today.
Yeah.
That's what's the tiebreaker is for me.
Yep.
Joey, you're going Ertz as well?
It's Ertz, but I mean, the Falcons got the second most fantasy points to tight ends, but I'm still playing Ertz.
Mr. Scamper is going chug. We'll get that.
I'm sorry that my camera froze. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Brett has a question for us. Brett Francois says, how do you feel about starting Tua tonight? I feel hot and ready, like a Little Caesars pizza about starting Tua tonight. That's how I feel, Brett. Britt, how do you feel about starting Tua?
Yeah, I think that if there was any kind of setback that he had, that they wouldn't play him. Especially going into this matchup, I think he's good to go. We've talked kind of ad nauseum about the fact that we think that this is going to be a passing shootout game tonight. So yeah, I'm all in.
Joey, you feel good about starting Tua?
I feel like starting Tua is like when I kiss my wife. It's special every time that I get to do it. So yeah.
Is she watching? Is she standing behind the computer staring at you? And that's why you said
nah, but I'll be like, hey honey, I talked about you on the show. I'm like, brownie points.
Very sweet. King Kylie in here wanting to know Devonta Smith, Kirk, or London. I can choose 2, so got to bench one of those.
Okay, here we go.
That's a question, King Kylie.
Yeah,
coming in
juicy.
right at the buzzer. We got to bench one of Devonta Smith, the #1 PPR wide receiver in week 3. Christian Kirk, who's been blowing up there on the Jags, or Drake London. I've been surprised by how involved he's been early as a rookie in that Falcons offense. Britt, who are you benching out of these 3? This is a tough decision.
I've got to bench London. I mean, I don't feel good about it. I still think Kirk is going to just kind of feast on this offense, especially in a potential negative game script. Devontae Smith, I think, is taking over as the wide receiver 1 in Philadelphia. He's got more snaps.
I love it.
Again, you guys go over to Fantasy Alarm, check out the hot takes. I wrote about this last week, but he's got a bigger snap share, a bigger target share. Aside from that week 1, like, he has become the guy. So I really think that it's Smith and Kirk. Although I really do like London, this is a very hard decision to make. And kudos to you for having a wealth of riches on your team.
Yes.
Joey, what about you? Which one of these are you benching?
I have them all as top 24 wide receivers, which isn't a hot take. But for me, I am going to go London and Kirk. I just love everything I've seen out of Drake London, and yeah, Devonta Smith. You've got a great option, which way you go. Mix match the 2. I'm sure Simon's going to go Smith and London just to make you really confused.
I mean, you mentioned the weather in that Jaguars game, right? And all of these guys are pretty close. Like the other one with Christian Kirk, it wasn't necessarily close for me between him and Hunt, but whenever we're talking these other receiving options, that might just be the tiebreaker. And I do think I'll go Smith in London here. And to my surprise, I didn't expect this. I wasn't drafting a lot of Devonta Smith, but it looks like Jalen Hurts in this Philadelphia Eagles offense is going to be able to support 2 fantasy relevant wide receivers.
So
Hurts it's not that I wasn't expecting Hurts to be good. It's that I was expecting similar game scripts to last year, right? Like it was going to be very run heavy, but man, Hurts really doing his best to make a case for MVP. Shut everyone up out there. Everyone who came in and hung out with us today, asked your questions. Thank you so much for coming in. And Britt, thank you so much for coming on and helping us answer all these questions today.
Thank you guys so much. This is always such a blast. I just appreciate you guys having me on.
Guys, if you are not already following our friend Britt, go and fix that right now. You can find her on Twitter at Britt_Flinn. I'm going to post a link in the chat right now. So if you have not done that already, you got a chance to fix it this instance. Tomorrow morning, after the Thursday night football game, if you want to talk some football bright and early, myself, JL, and our friend Coop A. Fiasco are going to be live on the Better Sports Network from 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern time. So come hang out with us then. Until tomorrow morning, though, we are out of here. Enjoy your Thursday night football. See you later, everyone.
Bye, everybody.